Welcome back everyone, thanks for checking out the channel. To keep things going, we're going to be doing another pressure washer review today. I was walking through Home Depot and found this Dewalt. It's an electric pressure washer rated at 2400 psi at 1.1 GPM. Right off the bat, I appreciate those ratings. That's probably pretty accurate. I bet it's going to be operating at 1.1 GPM or right around that with the nozzles that they provided. 2400, we'll see. Usually it comes in right under that for the actual usable pressure on these things, but we'll see. We're going to go ahead and test it. Real quick, a couple of the specs. It comes with three different nozzles. Sorry, let's go. We got a 15-degree nozzle, a 25-degree nozzle, a 40-degree nozzle, a turbo nozzle, and a soap dispensing nozzle. 25-foot hose. Which again, if you guys watch my videos, I apologize, I'm a broken record about this, but if you're just watching this one video, that's why I mention it all the time. 25-foot hose, it's too short to really get anything done, and typically the material that they're made of is pretty crappy. They either kink or they're just really cumbersome. So I always use an aftermarket pressure washer hose. It's 50 feet long, super pliable, it doesn't kink. Amazing hose, and you can get them right on Amazon. So I will have that link down in the description below for you. Actually, let me just go and grab it so you guys can see it. All right, and so here it is. As you can see, 50 feet long, has an M22 by 14 connection. Fits most pressure washers, definitely fits the Ryobis. That way, if you're using like a Sunjo or an Active or anything like that, you will need to get an adapter, because those use an M22 by 15 millimeter. So the adapter is also linked down below. And right now I'm going to go ahead and list my little playlist of all the pressure washer reviews I've done. You guys can filter through them and see which ones you like. Make sure you check out the Active pressure washers, Active and Cat brand. If you're doing car detailing, those are my favorite ones for that. But today we're going to be going ahead and checking out this Dewalt unit. I will be doing all my testing using this hose. In my experience, it makes no difference. Even though we're at doubling the size of the hose, it does not affect the pressure and GPM ratings. So we'll be testing with that, along with an aftermarket stubby gun. It's called a stubby because you can just, it's obviously short. This one's great. I'll link it down below. It has a built-in swivel on it so that the hose doesn't get tangled up. And we will be using the factory nozzles that it comes with because of the orifice size. That's going to be how they're getting their ratings on the PSI and GPM, is how small the hole is in that nozzle. So we'll be testing that with those, and then I'll probably throw on one or two other larger orifice nozzles to get the pressure ratings on those, just to see what kind of numbers we get when we increase the orifice size, see what kind of numbers we get on the PSI and the GPM, and see how that differs from the factory nozzles. So once again, 2400 max PSI, 1.1 GPM, Dewalt. I picked it up at Home Depot for $2.99. We're gonna go ahead and pop this guy open and unbox it and see what it has. Oops. Lance extension for the pressure washer gun. Packaging. Here's the pressure washer gun itself. So interesting enough, it's unbranded. And it does seem to be the same as all the others. Build quality seems a little bit questionable actually. Let's see here. It does say it maxes out at 4000 PSI, so you're good, but I mean, it just seems loose to me. So it does have trigger lock, meaning you can't pull the trigger. Does not have trigger lock in the sense of being able to pull it and leave it and use it that way. You're gonna have to be consistently pulling the trigger. So, but you just attach the lance extension right on there. Has a quick connect built on it. right there, and just buttons up just like that. I'm not gonna be putting this together because we're not gonna be using this, but just my first impression, seems a little bit janky, and it is unbranded, so obviously I'm gonna assume that this is not built by Dewalt. It's made by someone else and branded Dewalt. All right, here's the back cage attachment. Comes with the pressure washer nozzles right on top of it, at least. Soap dispensing, let's see, 15, 25, and 40. And just looking really quick, I don't know if you can see in there it is. The orifice size actually doesn't look terribly small. Probably about a 2 millimeter, something like that, maybe slightly less, but anyways, we'll test it out and see. Go ahead and just assemble this really quickly. Super easy to assemble, it's just a couple of pins, just little push pins, and it sets in right there. So first thing to note, guys, that I'm noticing that is different about this pressure washer than any other that I've used is the build quality, especially of the wheels. Look at those things. So they're actual air inflated wheels. You compare that to any of the other pressure washers I've reviewed, they're all plastic wheels. These things are beefy, very, very, very beefy, and meant to, you know, Dewalt's known for their job site tools, so that thing's meant to be taken out on the job site through dirt and everything else, no worries, with air inflated actual rubber wheels. All right, so the last two things coming out of the box are the instruction manual turbo nozzle, which it does have a place for. So turbo nozzle's on there. In my past experience with the turbo nozzle, it actually drops the PSI a little bit, but because it's a smaller stream and that it oscillates, you get a lot of cleaning power out of it. So yeah, they're great little things to have. I don't use them. I always stick to, especially in the car detailing business, I stick to a 40-degree nozzle. But these are good to have, so I appreciate that they give it to you. The pressure washer hose, on the other hand, is super chintzy. It does say it's rated at 2500 PSI. Go ahead and undo this real quick. And then I'll be kind of looking at it to see if it's a M22 by 15 millimeter size or if it's a 14, which would be a standard fit for the hose replacement. But as you can see right off the bat, guys, it's just a rat's nest. Terrible, terrible material that these things are made of. And just trying to undo it, it's already kinked. So, bink, kinks, that creates pressure points and creates a good chance for it to blow out right there. So this hose is crap. I would definitely recommend getting the aftermarket hose if you want. It gives you a longer length and it's way sturdier hose. It's not gonna kink on you like this one will. I mean, you guys can just real quickly, just looking at the two. The blue one is thicker, completely different material. We'll grab them together. Here. Let's grab them there. Grab them up here. So that one's kinking, and that one is not. So, I love this thing. So that's it, that's the unboxing, super easy to put together. We're gonna plug this thing in, hook it up to my pressure gauge. We're gonna test the active, actual usable PSI and GPM, so you guys can get an accurate reading. What's posted on the box is typically not accurate. What they list is always the absolute best case scenario. Right when you first pull the trigger, that initial burst of pressure is what they rate it at. And GPM is typically rated at its highest flow, meaning like no nozzle or a very, very open nozzle and operating at like 100 PSI. This one's only listing at 1.1 GPM, so I'm pretty sure that's gonna be accurate with these nozzles, but we'll go ahead and test it now. All right guys, so one more thing really quickly I wanted to point out here is it does have a little graphics here, which is cool. So the soap dispensing nozzle, it says soap. The 40-degree nozzle has a picture of a vehicle. 25 has a picture of a house. 15-degree has a picture of some bricks. So they're kind of giving you an idea of what to use each nozzle on. And then here's the turbo nozzle as well. On-off switch is just right on the top. Just a little toggle switch. Soap dispenser is right on top as well. Let's see here. All right, so it comes right out. It is just connected by a little hose, and that is all. Once again, with the soap dispenser, I don't recommend these because once you put it in, it's flowing through the unit. Even once you stop it, you're still gonna have residual soap in your hose, and I think that's bad for the hose personally. And plus, when you're trying to rinse the car, you're still gonna have hose in the line. It's just not ideal. So I always recommend getting an aftermarket foam cannon that attaches to the front of your pressure washer gun. That way you're not contaminating the hose. They foam way better. I'm gonna link one down in the description below for you guys. I'll link a couple of them, but the one I like the most has complete brass fittings at the neck of it. And then the only thing you want to make sure is when you're using an electric pressure washer, you make sure that the foam cannon, make sure you swap it out with a 1.1 millimeter orifice. That will be linked down below as well as a video showing you how to swap that out. I'll link it right up here at the top for you guys. All right. One more thing to note, it does have the GCFI or ground fault GFCI. Since you're working around water, this will keep you safe. It is in line. It's not at the actual head of the outlet or whatever, the plug, which I do like that, but not a big deal. And then one other thing, so inlet is on one side. It's where you attach your water hose. Outlet where your pressure washer hose comes out is on the other side. I love that. It keeps it separate, and so you're not getting everything all tangled up. Some pressure washers have it come out like right next to each other and it's just a mess. So both sides, that's nice, and they are metal, so you don't have to worry about those breaking down over time. Those are gonna be good for a long time. So overall, so far it looks great. The wheels are very impressive. It seems very robust. Soap dispensing tank doesn't matter to me. I don't like those. I highly recommend you just get the foam cannon, and then the hose that it comes with is junk as well. So anyways, let's fire this thing up. All right guys, so just before plugging this thing in, I just wanted to take a quick note. I just walked by the Ryobi 2400 psi unit, and they look identical almost. Like, let me just grab it. So as you can see, these are very similar. Well, I take that back. They're not that similar actually. This one, the Dewalt, has the inlet and outlet on opposite sides, which I prefer. The Ryobi does not. They're both on the same side, the inlet and the outlet. And then I was just looking at the pump attachments and everything, and the pump definitely looks different. The motor in the back looks the same, but the pump up front looks different. So, pretty important clarification there. The motor for sure looks the same, that's what's powering it, but the pump is what's gonna get you your numbers. So, they're definitely different. The Dewalt is more robust for sure. The Ryobi was a great unit. I love it actually. It has an induction motor, and it does not have the total stop system, meaning even when it's fully at pressure, it keeps running. It goes quieter, but it keeps on running. So we'll see if that is the same case with the Dewalt. It doesn't say if it is or not, so we'll find out. The Ryobi, I think I paid $349, and this Dewalt was $299. I don't know if it was on sale. It was at the front of the store, so it may have been on sale, but $50 cheaper. So we'll go ahead and test it out now. All right, connecting my water source. Good to go. I'm gonna go ahead and now I'm gonna go ahead and connect my aftermarket hose here. If it leaks, then I'll know that this is an M2215, not a 14, in which case I'll put the adapter on, but I'm gonna go ahead and test it now. Now, another thing I like, guys, is to use actual quick connects here. For me, I like to be able to do that because then I can store my hose easier and make everything a lot faster, but not needed, but quick connects will be linked down below. Yeah. All right, we're connected. Just gonna plug the unit in. All right, guys, so we've got the hose plugged into the machine. Going to be connecting my pressure washer gauge here. This will give us a good idea of the actual pressure that it's actually getting. So we'll hook it up in line between the hose and the actual gun. Like that. And we're gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna be using the 40-degree nozzle that it came with. Now all of these should be the exact same orifice size. I'll test 2 of them to make sure, but if they are all the same orifice size, then it's not gonna change the PSI or GPM between any of them, so I'm only gonna test with the one. All right, we're connected. I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the water, and then we'll fire the machine on and see how it sounds. All right, first things first, at the inlet connection, there's no leak, so that's good. Let's go ahead and fire this guy on. Oh, wow. It does have the total stop system. I did not think it did. It sounded similar to the Ryobi unit that doesn't have it, but it does, and it is super, super quiet. So, let me see something. All right, very interesting, guys. Something really, really good to know and something pretty cool. The orifice sizes actually seem to be different for the machine. So the 15-degree nozzle is getting a completely different number than the 40-degree nozzle. So I'm actually just gonna operate it just with these guys, and we'll test them out and see where it goes. So let me go ahead and get the turbo nozzle as well, just to see what the pressure is on that. So far, I'm really impressed. It sounds amazing. It sounds nice and quiet, has the total stop, and the fact that they give you different orifices throughout the different range of fans on the nozzles is really cool, because that's how it should be. Ouch. Shouldn't have done that. It's showing, so I'll just show you guys. Here, let me move this down for you. All right, so turbo nozzle. Let me see if you guys can see it well enough. Okay, here we go. So as you can see, that's only operating at about, let's see, 850 to 900 PSI. Yeah, 850 PSI with a turbo nozzle. However, when I put my hand in front of it, it hurts. It completely hurts compared to any of the other nozzles. So as you can see, I don't know if this will pick it up. So as you can see, the water comes out in a spiral, kind of oscillates through, and that's what generates the power of what you're doing with it. So that's the turbo nozzle. I'm not going to test the GPM with this. We'll stick to just the normal, maybe I will. We're going to run through test the PSI on all these nozzles first, then we'll run through and do the GPM as well. All right, so next up is the 15-degree nozzle. Here we go, ready, and so what's that operating? All right, so as I expected, I didn't think that this would actually get to 2400, but it is sitting at 2200, which is impressive. But as you can see, I can, even though this is operating at 2200 psi versus the 850, I can put my hand in front of this versus the power nozzle. It hurts. So I don't know how they do that with the power nozzle, but that's why it's good for cleaning. They call it a power nozzle. All right, now on to the 25-degree nozzle. Oops, sorry guys. Try and get that to focus for you. All right, here we go. All right, so that runs to 1200 psi. And as you can see, just real quick guys, so you can see, you'll see the pressure build up, and when I release, the full pressure builds up in the machine and it does hit the 2400. So that's where they get that rating from. But our best usable PSI is gonna be at that 2200 mark with the nozzles that it comes with. See how it built all the way up to that 2400? So that's it, that's how they get that rating. Now from that nozzle, we're going to the 40-degree nozzle. And because all of these do have different orifice sizes, they will be getting different GPM, gallons per minute of water flow. So we'll test that as well. Here we go with the 40. All right, so the orifice size of this and the 25 may be the same. We're getting just under 1200 psi with this one. All right, that's it for the PSI test. Now we're gonna go ahead and switch over and do the GPM test. Alrighty, so for the gallons per minute, basically what we do is we take the machine with the nozzle that we're gonna be testing, throw it into this bucket. This is a measuring bucket. As you can see, the measurements on the side, and I'll set up a timer on my phone for 1 minute. It's gallons per minute, so we're gonna test it that way and see what these get. And I'm gonna go ahead and start off with the turbo nozzle. Okay. Let me readjust this for you guys a little bit. All right, guys, I am back. I'm gonna go ahead and set up the stopwatch, ready to go, and all right. So power nozzle is getting, let's see here, 4.5 quarts. We'll go ahead and check that on Google. Let's see here. .5 quarts is 1.125 liquid gallons. So pretty good. That's fine for that nozzle. Like I said, it does hurt when you put your hand in front of it, so you're getting a lot of power out of this thing. We're going to switch it over now. I'm going to empty out the bucket, and now we will do the 15-degree nozzle. All right. Now, just emptied out the bucket. I'm not going to bother drying it out. It's a couple drips. It's not going to make any real difference if that adds like an ounce or something. I don't even think it's going to be any issue at all, so I'm just going to skip that, and we're going to go to the 15-degree nozzle. Good to go. Into the bucket. Get the timer ready again. And here we go. Alrighty, 15-degree nozzle. Just slightly under 4.5 quarts. So what were we at? We were at 1.125, I believe. Yeah, so we're sitting at that 1.1 gallons per minute with the 25-degree with the 15-degree nozzle at 2200 psi, 1.1 GPM. Alrighty, up next, we're gonna go to the 25-degree nozzle. And now this one and the 40-degree nozzle, we're getting pretty much the same PSI numbers. So I'm assuming they're the same orifice size. If not, they're just slightly different. But we're gonna go ahead and test it and see. We'll find out in a second. 25-degree nozzle in the bucket. Timer on, and here we go. All right, so I'm assuming that should be an increase in GPM. And interestingly enough, it's a slight increase, but it's sitting at what the power nozzle is at. So it's at 1.125 GPM. So very slight increase over the 15-degree nozzle. Alrighty, and last nozzle we're going to be doing here from the factory settings is the 40-degree nozzle. Again, this was getting about 1150 psi. And here we go. All right, so guys, I don't know if you can hear that, but there is a little bit of a squeak to the machine once you stop the pressure. It's probably just because of all the back pressure that it's going through the system, but just know that it does make that little whistle at the end. All right, so the 40-degree nozzle. Interesting, same thing. So the only one, so the 25 and the 40-degree nozzle are the same size. We're getting 1150 to 1200 PSI, and we're getting 1.125 GPM. The 15 degree nozzle, we're getting 2200 PSI at 1.1 GPM. And the power nozzle, we're getting 850, let me double check that. I don't remember what the PSI was on this one. But we're getting the 1.125 GPM as well. Just look at this real quick. Yeah, 850 PSI, 1.125 GPM. So very, 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 very accurate readings on this machine. Alrighty guys, so there's your review of the Dewalt 2400 PSI 1.1 GPM electric pressure washer. It is rated at 13 amps. Super quiet, has the total stop system. Got impressive numbers with that 15 degree nozzle at 2200 PSI. Really, really good. Now, my recommendations with this thing is if you're gonna use this as your all-around unit at home for cleaning, pressure washing your sidewalks, all that kind of stuff, the sides of your house, and washing your car, I would say this is an absolutely great unit because you're getting so much PSI and because the wheels on it are huge and it makes it really easy to move around. It's really smooth. Like I said, they're air inflated tires. Now, if you are going to be using it for car detailing, the GPM flow is a little bit low, but it's not terrible. It's definitely lower than I would prefer, but if it's you're a weekend warrior and you just want to get it clean your car, it's going to do the job just fine. DeWalt's a great brand. I loved all their products, so I'm a fan of that. Once again, the soap dispensing nozzle, I would say no. I would just attach a foam can to the top. Again, that's linked down below. Yeah, the grip on it has a nice foam grip on the top, so it's really comfortable to move around. Now, if you're if you're just looking for a pressure washer that's specifically for car detailing, I'll link up top again, the active pressure washers. Those things are absolutely amazing for car detailing. They use a 5-piston pump, which allows them to get a higher GPM. I think the 1800 PSI unit, it's the VE52, actual usable pressure is 1100 PSI at a full 2 gallons per minute, which is amazing for car detailing. So I highly recommend that. I don't know if I linked it before, I can't remember if I already did or not, but the link to that pressure washer will be down in the description below as well. So anyways guys, if you're interested in a good unit for at home, this thing is incredible. $299, it's actually a really good deal for the numbers that it's getting. The only thing I recommend is ditch that hose immediately. It's really bad. Get the aftermarket hose that I recommended. And I did want to know, it didn't leak at all, even with that hose. I put in the factory hose that it came with, and it is a much snugger fit to get it in, as opposed to this hose, the UberFlex hose. However, it didn't leak, so I'm assuming that it is an M22 by 14, and it just had a bigger O-ring on the factory hose. So, but yeah, this should be a direct fit replacement right into that pressure washer unit, so you're good to go. So again, thank you so much, guys. Please like and comment down below. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel. I have a bunch more reviews coming up. We're actually going to be looking at some of the battery-powered pressure washers from Dewalt, Ryobi, and Works. I'm calling them pressure washers, but they actually call them power cleaners. They're supposed to range from like 300 to 800 PSI, depending on which company you're looking at. So make sure you're subscribed. Those will be coming out soon. Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you on the next one.